Dear Diary, today I would like to tell you about my wonderful day out. Believe it or not, I actually had a great day. I know that I write a lot about my problems like my depression, anxiety, and my work bully, Jordan. Ugh, I hate Jordan, he's such a prick. Anyway, I met a girl. She's really sweet and I actually got a date with her. Oh, wait, I should really explain this. So, I woke up at stupid o'clock again today, about 6 am, because I just couldn't stay asleep, even with the new herbal sleep tablets I've been taking. After waking up, I felt like a complete load of bollocks, as per usual. I went downstairs and decided to watch some cartoons. I sat down, turned on the TV, and started watching. A few hours go by and it's about 9 am. I'm hungry at this point, so I turned to the fridge. There wasn't anything left, not for my breakfast anyway, so I checked the cupboards. Empty. I sighed to myself and decided I needed to go out and buy something. I could always order some breakfast, but it would be a massive waste of money and I'm trying to conserve my money a bit. Anyway, I quickly brushed my teeth and lazily got dressed. Time to head out. I get out of the house and lock the door behind me. I don't want any burglars in my home after all. Right, so I'm walking down the street to the shop to get some eggs for my breakfast, right? But something seemed odd. It was bright. Not just a sunny day kind of bright, but like lens flares in a 4K game kind of bright. Everything seemed more beautiful today and everything seemed to have more detail than normal. I thought to myself, did my eyesight get better overnight? Am I a vampire or something now? Obviously, neither of those thoughts were right, but I could see all the leaves in such a brilliant light that I've just never seen before. Hell, I even decided to take a couple of pictures just because the sky and the trees looked so perfect. Have you ever just stopped to admire the rustling trees of a gorgeous day? Wait, of course not, you're just a diary. Silly me. I get to the shop and I pick up some eggs. I also saw some mushrooms and decided to get some of those too. You know I love mushrooms. They're one of my favourite food items. Something else catches my eye whilst I'm in the shop. I went to pay but there were a few customers in front of me. So I do my usual thing when this happens. Stand still and look around like an idiot until the customers in front of me finish paying. On the shelves to the right were some magazines. I'm not a reader of magazines, but one of them was completely out of place which caught my eye. It was some magazine on nature walks or something like that. I'm a recluse, so going out on nature walks just isn't my forte. Finally pay for my eggs and mushrooms, then walk home. Nothing special happens on my walk home, apart from seeing the most adorable dachshund ever. Sausage dogs are super cute. If I could afford one, I'd get one as a pet and call it something adorable and silly like Flubbles or something. Anyway, let's skip ahead to me being at home. I decided to go for something simple and hearty. Fried egg and mushroom sandwich. Yum. Everyone knows how the ritual goes. You cook it, you eat it, then you break your back while washing up. Ugh, back pain is the worst. I went back to my cartoons and then there was this episode where the characters are going on a camping trip. For the third time today, the universe seemed to be telling me that I need to be outside more. I do like nature and I see the beauty in it, but going outside is pretty scary for me. I try not to go outside unless I have to. I continued to watch cartoons for a bit longer. It got to about 11 am and I was starting to get bored of binge watching. So I went upstairs and played some games. Downloaded a mod for a game I've been playing and got started in the world. Yet another sign that I should be outside – as the game drops in a forest. Wonderful, I thought to myself. You know what? Screw it. I'm going out. Nothing is going to stop me today. I punch my fists together, wince in pain because what I did was stupid and painful, then I put my shoes on and head out. There is actually a nature trail a short walk from my house, so I go there. It's called Lostout Trail. It's a creepy name, so I bet there's some fun ghost stories about it, that probably only take place at night. Why do ghouls only come out at night anyway? I stick in my earphones in my ears and walk to Lostout Trail. It took me about 10 minutes and I didn't even get lost. I always worry about getting lost when I go to a new place, especially if I go by myself. I stare at the gate for a moment, feeling anxious. What if I get lost? What if someone attacks me? What if I have a panic attack? Those were the thoughts rushing through my mind, but I did what any sensible adult would do in this situation. I turned the volume of the music up louder. I swear I will be deaf by 40 from how loud I have to listen to music just to feel calm outside. Anyway, I open the gate and enter the trail. It happens again. I notice all the beauty and detail of my surroundings, like I had earlier in the morning. I couldn't help but walk slowly and just turn my head to watch everything happening. In fact, I was so awestruck of the beauty of nature itself that after only one song I turned off the music, took out my earphones and just walked. I felt oddly calm. When I actually noticed how I was feeling, it should have shocked me and made me feel more anxious, since it was a really strange occurrence. Yet, I didn't feel anxious about it at all. In fact, I felt completely at the mercy of the sheer brilliance and dazzling beauty of nature itself. Now, if anyone is reading my diary and has gotten this far, then please forgive me for being so in-depth and detailed in a moment. For some reason, the events of today are so vivid that I can't stop thinking about it. Anyway, I'll continue. The walk started off with a simple dirt trail. It was that awkward sand dirt with random stones and pebbles strewn across it. Not quite gravel, not quite sand, not quite just dirt. It was something in between, all of the above. It is summer right now and it's warm. Not too warm, but there are no clouds, and I probably should have brought a cold drink with me just to stay hydrated and cool. Oh well, I survived. Spoilers, hehe. The trail sits along the side of a small field of grass, not much bigger than the size of a football pitch. The grass looked uneven. Some patches were more grown than others. Someone really needs to cut that grass. All this sun will make it grow too quickly and it'll get longer and chaotic. It seems like a good place to let a dog off its lead and just run around. I wonder if wild rabbits hop around in it sometimes. The trail led up to a wooded area, not quite a forest, but more like a few rows of trees on either side. I'm not a tree expert, so I'm not sure what trees they were, but they were all way too tall. I tried looking up at them, but the sun caught my eyes and I immediately had to look away. Maybe I'll be both deaf and blind by my 40s. Ugh. Entering the wooded area, I started hearing the chirping of birds. I usually hate the sound of birds chirping. I think it's one of the most annoying sounds in the world, but for some reason I found it cute and satisfying? I don't know. There were a variety of bird songs, mainly the coo of pigeons though. Bloody pigeons. Anyway, most people don't realise just how loud wooded areas are. Singing birds, the constant flapping of the wings, rustling of the leaves, the creaking of the branches, and sometimes you can hear animals scurrying around, or the never-ending buzzing of bees, wasps, hornets and flies. How was I able to appreciate such an annoying set list of sounds today? I'm still a bit surprised about it even now. continued walking and finally got to the end of the wooded area. I didn't notice it until I got there, but the pathway got much wider as I was walking through. The pathways trailed off up a small incline. I walked up it and there was another field. This time it was a meadow of flowers. Again, I'm not really a huge fan of flowers, but something about this meadow seemed so lustrous and inviting. There were lovely flowers in a variety of colours: reds, yellows, burgundies, blues, whites. These flowers were obviously planted and looked after, since they weren't just dandelions and daisies. I don't really care enough about flowers to learn the names of them. Well, I think they were marigolds and cosmos, maybe daffodils as well. I couldn't seem to escape the magnificence of the great outdoors. I never thought I would ever say something like that. I took several pictures of the flowers because they looked pretty. I like taking pictures of pretty things after all. However, I saw a bumblebee and decided to quickly walk along. I'm not much of a fan of bees. They're tricky and unpredictably violent. I guess I smell sweet because I seem to attract the tiny monsters all the time. Eventually, I got to the end of the meadow area and found myself at a bench. I decided to skip it because bees. The trail narrowed back down after this, being a much more claustrophobic area with bushes surrounding me on both sides. Thankfully, I'm not claustrophobic. It's funny how hypnotic nature can be when you're taking it all in on a nature trail. I could even hear my own footsteps. Even without blasting music in my ears, I never focus enough to hear my own footsteps, unless I'm wading through something loud like dead leaves or mud that squelches every time you take a step. Eventually the path got wider and became a little bit more open. I saw another bench and decided to take a break. I sat down and checked my phone. Surprisingly, I had enough of a signal to use my mobile data. I checked my messages both online and offline, but no one had messaged me. A bit sad, but I didn't let that ruin my day. I sat here for a while, maybe about 10 minutes. I was pretty hot and sweaty, so being able to take a break and sit down helped to cool me off. Again, I should have brought a cold drink with me. I was also starting to get hungry at this point since it was nearly 12 PM. But I wanted to make it to the end of the trail before turning back and heading home. There were only 2 sections left to go, another wooded area and then the lake. I stood up and continued walking, going through the second wooded area. Honestly, it seems to be exactly the same as the first wooded area. I could hardly tell the difference. So I will skip talking about that section. I finally got through to the end of the trail. A small lake. When I arrived, I noticed something odd. I can't believe it took me so long to notice this, but I hadn't seen a single person on that trail the entire time until I got to the lake. There was a woman laying down on a picnic blanket, reading a book. She also had a picnic basket beside her. I thought she would be on a date or with her friends or family, but no, she was completely alone. Where was everyone anyway? It was a nice day out, and this trail is beautiful when the weather is right, clearly. I was about to walk past her to get a closer look at the lake, but she stopped me when I walked in front of her. It was funny. She asked me to stay there to block out the sunlight for her. She seemed to be in her 20s, like me. Typical summer clothes, short blue denim shorts, white crop top, black sunglasses, about as generic as you could get. She was really cute as well, like really cute. She was slim, she had long, wavy, dark brown hair, and she was also around the same height as me, probably a little bit taller. I noticed she was reading manga of all things. It was like a dream come true. Here I was, answering the universe's call to actually go outside and enjoy a long walk through a nature trail, staring at a beautiful woman who is alone reading manga. I love manga. I told her that and we had a conversation about manga, anime and cartoons. Eventually I asked her for her name. She told me her name was Carly. With the craziness of the day, I was expecting her to have a really interesting name like Veronica or Jasmine. Nope. Her name was simple. I liked that. She immediately asked me for my name, so I told her. Jeffrey's the name and anime is my game. Of course, she laughed at me for being really cringy, but hey, she invited me to have some picnic food with her. She said she always makes too much. It turns out she goes to Lostout Trail quite often during spring and summer, as long as it isn't raining. Thankfully, she's not one of those freaks who puts mayo on everything. There were barbecue chicken wraps, green pasta salad. She even brought a full carton of fresh orange juice. Wow! It was really nice. I got to talk to her even more about other topics like gaming and information about her. She's 24, lives nearby, and she's an artist. She mainly does commissions to pay her bills, but she's drawing her own comic art as well. She said she'll bring some of her artwork to show me next week. That's right, Jeff got a picnic date. Woohoo! Anyway, after an hour or so had passed, she had to leave. She packed up her things and she gave me her phone number so we could properly arrange to meet up the following week. We decided to walk back together. When coming in, I was enthralled by the beauty of nature, but going out, I was awestruck by the amazing woman I had just met, Carly. When exiting Lostout Trail, we said goodbye and went our separate ways. Can't wait to see her again. I was so lost in thought that I didn't bother listening to music on the way home. When I got home, I unlocked the door, walked in, and sat down on the settee. I just thought about the day for about half an hour. By this point, it was about 2 p.m. I decided to text Carly and ask if she wanted to go ahead and arrange to meet up again next week, and she agreed. I get to see her again next Friday at around 12 p.m. at the lake. I'm really excited. She asked me to bring the drinks this time. I think I'll just get a couple of bottles of flavoured water. Of course, I'd have to run it by her first to make sure I don't buy her something she hates. People would be surprised to find out how many people dislike flavoured water. I hope she doesn't expect me to bring wine or something. I mean, for a first picnic date, wouldn't wine be a bit too much? Anything can happen when wine is involved, especially at 12 p.m. Moving on to the more boring parts of the afternoon, I did my daily routine of binge watching some anime and online videos. I did a bit more work on my little greenhouse by adding another plant. I can't wait for my cute little peppers to finish growing. I'm really excited to try homegrown chili peppers. I'm not all that good at cooking, but practice makes perfect, and fresh homegrown ingredients are the best ingredients to use, I bet. It got to about 5 p.m. and I thought to myself, I think I've earned a beer for all my hard work today. I might even have 2 to celebrate meeting Carly. So I did. I opened the first can and guzzled it. By the time I was on my second can, it was time for me to start cooking my dinner. Screw it, I can't be bothered now, I'll just order something. That's what I thought to myself. I went with pizza. It had been a while since my last pizza anyway. I got the usual Mexican pizza with mushrooms. It arrived, I ate it. It was great. I drank my beer and I curled up on the settee for a couple of hours, watching a film. As per usual, it was another subpar film. Oh well, maybe next time it'll be a good one. I doubt it though. After that, I had a shower, watched some more anime, and then I decided to head to bed. And that brings me to right now. It's taken me ages to write today's entry. I know, but it was worth it. I'm so glad that I enjoyed today. The universe was obviously telling me to go out today, to this specific place so that I could meet Carly. Call me lovesick, but it could be that I'm destined to be with Carly. I really hope it goes well next week. I'm pretty sure it'll be a proper date. Right, phew, that's finally done. Bloody hell, that took me forever to write down. I'm probably gonna need a new pen soon. There's not much ink left in this one.
Jeffrey.
What? Who's there? Show yourself.
Open the book.
Who are you? Where are you? What book? My diary? It's all dark now. I can't see anything. I don't know what happened. I opened my diary after that mysterious voice told me to. I don't understand. Where am I? I can't feel anything. It's like all my senses are gone. I can't see, hear, fear, taste, or even smell anything. Wait, am I dead? Oh no, what about Carly? I'll never see her again. I need to escape. I need to wake up. There has to be a way, right? Right? I just have to move. Why can't I move? What the hell is going on? I can't talk. I'm just hearing my voice like it's inside my head. Please tell me that it's just some crazy nightmare or a prank. Please don't let me be dead.
Your soul is mine. After 600 years, I finally awakened.
My soul? What? Who are you?
Your soul is the first that I have claimed. With this, I can grow stronger. Your soul was not ideal, but your emotions have revived my ability to steal souls.
So, am I really dead?
Yes, I was able to absorb your soul. This is your end, mortal.